Hey, Alina Wilson from Estimate Mastery here, and today we're going to talk about the top 3 line items in Xactimate that most contractors leave behind. So let's go take a look. So here's an example of what I see a lot of contractors leaving behind. So it's basically these little areas here. You'll see this roof right there on that front porch of this home, and then that same home has a bay area or a bay window area that you'll see in these photos. So I'm very glad that the contractor bothered to take pictures of these photos because I can actually get some extra labor hours paid from these. Basically, you're not going to be able to walk on the field shingle of the roof in order to repair or replace the shingles in this area or this one as well. So what I would recommend is adding the RFG, LAB, or LABL line items. I'll show you that in Xactimate in a second, because these are like mini arts and crafts projects. You got to go ahead and get up there, scrape the shingles off, and then you got to come back, have the shingles hand carried up to that area, work that into that flashing or replace the flashing, whatever you're going to do. Like I said, it's like a little mini arts and crafts project that is not walkable from the field shingle. Therefore, anything that isn't average on a job, isn't included on the removal and replacement of shingles, needs to be added. And this is just extra labor to take the time and care to properly reinstall these shingles in these tight little areas. That also goes for the hand carrying of shingles. I just quickly took a screenshot of Google, so this is a little blurry, but this is the front street here. It's a address here in Denver, Colorado. And you can see from the Google Earth images that these homes, and there's the alley, okay, so you got the front street here and the alley back here, that these homes are what we call landlocked, meaning if I want to perform any actions or repairs on this roof or even on this home, let's say you're an interior contractor, you're going to have to hand carry the debris to a dumpster that's either going to be parked out here or maybe parked in the alleyway. I don't know that they would allow that because of the restrictions on access. So basically it's extra time that your laborers or your crew, whatever you want to call them, are going to take to hand carry the debris out to wherever you're allowed to park that dumpster, because there's no driveways on either side in the front or back of the home. Also, this isn't a standard material delivery, meaning if I am going to install shingles, I can't just pull up and they can roof load from the supplier or whoever, supply house, whoever's dropping off the material. It's going to be a hand carry situation there as well. So that's 2 examples of where I would add extra labor hours to your estimate because it's over and above. And what happens in Xactimate is most people aren't looking for those above average line items, labor, materials that you're just taking for granted that it's included, and it's not. Xactimate's designed as the average in the market, so anything that's above average or takes extra time or care should be accounted for in your estimate. So let me show you real quick how we add this in Xactimate. So coming over to Xactimate, I am in estimate items already in an estimate. I'm just going to add those extra line items. So the RFG LAB or LABL, you can pick, you can read the click for details and pick which one you think is applicable. If it was something like, drywall that we had to hand carry, you could use something like a DRY LAB line item there. That would work as well, just depending on which trade, what you're dealing with. And then I would calculate the amount of hours that you would use there. You can calculate that by, how many people are on the job. Is it going to take 30 minutes? So if there's 6 people on a crew and they're all taking down the shingles and putting them back, hand carrying the shingles back onto the roof, that might be an hour per laborer. So you might have 6 is your quantity here instead of 3. If it's a couple guys doing a drywall install and they're having, to just walk to the curb, maybe they'll take 15 minutes each to remove, and then maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes to go back to the home. You can adjust the hours as such. Just remember to multiply it over the amount of people that are on your crew as well if you're doing this kind of an average scenario. And then I always explain myself in what's called a line item note. So I would double click on this little box right here, and then I would just type in the note, it's 3 laborers at 30 minutes per laborer, therefore I'm charging 1.5 hours for removal, and then to hand carry, it would be an hour per laborer, 3 laborers there. That's how I arrived at my math. I would just do the adjuster a favor and just put that into your estimate so everybody knows how we got to this number. The second line item I think a lot of contractors leave behind is the final cleaning for residential. This is an interior line item that you'll see that you can read through the click for detail. But basically the line items for interior work such as drywall, painting, all of that. Allows for, if you go to supporting events, it does allow for a debris removal, floor sweeping, or vacuuming in immediate workspace, independent of any final cleaning at the end of the job. So if you're not adding your final cleaning to account for the, especially if you do drywall work, that's drywall gets everywhere. That dust just goes throughout the room. If you have a immunocompromised person or someone with respiratory issues and you don't do a final cleaning, that's going to be, not good for the homeowner or the policyholder that you're doing the work for. So we always want to do a final clean, of course, but I recommend that this be added to any interior work because it's not included on any of the specific line items. It's a final cleanup once all the trades are done, once all the drywall's hung, the plaster, the paint, the whatever goes up. Final cleaning of the workspace is warranted because it's not included in the supporting event. And that's why I like to take you over to the supporting events tab up at the screen and let you see what it says here. That's part of the line item definition. And of course, you can always click for detail to see this in what the specifications and what's included in this line item in the click for detail as well. Write up a nice little line item note. If most adjusters haven't seen this before, I would include a note as well saying, well, the supporting events says to add this for the final cleaning at the end of the job. The other thing that I see contractors leaving behind quite frequently, and this is an older item, so I'm not really sure what is going on in the industry, but maybe you don't know what you don't know, so I get it. Watch what happens when I add my shingle line item, right? 300S. Let's get that added. And so let's say we have 25 squares on that roof. Did you see that? When it added the removal and the replacement of roofing, it added 2 line items, right? I didn't do that. Alina didn't do that. Xactimate did. Why do they split the roofing line item, the RFG 300 or 300S or whatever you're dealing with, into 2 line items? Because they know you're going to add waste on the replacement. So let's say this is a hip style roof. We'll just add the waste there of 15%. And now we remove 25 squares worth of shingles. We go back with 29 squares because we have to cut in the hip, ridges, valleys, ends of the rakes of the roof if it's a gable roof. All of that needs to happen, and Xactimate knows that. That's why it comes in with 2 line items. So what happens when this is a steep roof? Anything over 712 pitch where we have extra labor that we're adding to the estimate to deal with the steep roof charge. Anything from 712 on up gets a steep roof charge. Now what happens when I add this line item? And let's go with that 25 squares here. 2 line items come in. Why do 2 line items come in? Because Xactimate knows that we're supposed to add waste on the steep charge. And, this isn't going to result in the thousands and thousands of dollars on this estimate, but it is worth having the conversation with the adjuster because over time, let's see, we're at $1,500 right now. If we add our waste, let's say they paid for the $1,500, it's going to add an extra $200 and change to this estimate. $200 on an estimate multiplied by 10 jobs a month, multiplied by 12 months over the year, you're leaving some money behind. All right, that's what I'm here to do, is to help you see where you might have some holes in your system and leaving that money on the table that the insurance company just gets to pocket. So this is definitely a warranted line item to add the waste to the steep and the high charges. Okay, let's add some high charges. Look at this. You push enter. What happens? 2 line items come in, right? And so we also need our waste on our steep charges as well. Steep and the high get the waste because it's designed that way. And if you want to email pricing@verisk.com, ask them, like, did you design the steep and high charges to have waste? And get something in writing from them. And then you can present that to the adjuster. And I have a little line item note here. When you double click this line item note area, it pulls up a note that I've saved that says this line item is intended to have waste applied to the replacement of this line item. So after working with thousands of contractors over the past 10 years, these are the top 3 that I commonly see people leaving off of their estimates. If you'd like a full list of 10 commonly missed line items, click the link down below that we have in the description and go pick up that free PDF for you. Thanks for watching today. Really appreciate you guys. If you do like this topic, please like this video and consider subscribing. I release a video like this every week. Hope you guys have a great week in your business, and I'll see you next week.